First of all, I want to thank my team at Keep My Voice, not only for making this event happen, but for being in the forefront for the last 2 years fighting for our freedom. So let's give a hand to all of those people from Keep My Voice. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for attending today. My name is Phill Wright. I'm the Executive Director of Keep My Voice. We also invited legislators and all of the candidates for governor to attend this press conference. We realize that in the middle of a legislative session, that's not easy, so many are not able to attend. But we do appreciate and thank those that are here today. So I want to start this press conference by talking about ice cream. Ice cream is one of the oldest desserts known to man. I believe it originated sometime in the 3rd century in China. And the most common flavor of ice cream is vanilla. Over time, other flavors were created, but vanilla is still the most common. The second most common flavor is chocolate. And quite often, many people like the third choice, which is a vanilla chocolate twist. Choice is important to Americans, and it's very important to Utahns. As a matter of fact, choice, or liberty, as many call it, is the most powerful motivator known to man. Choice is what gave us freedom in this country. Choice is why you and I are here today. Freedom of choice is liberating. A lack of choice is constricting and binding. That is why there are so many flavors of ice cream. Political parties in Utah have had freedom of choice, the path for their candidates to make it to the ballot, for well over 100 years. And they have chosen what some may call the vanilla option through a caucus convention process. However, in 2014, that choice was taken away. The most common flavor, vanilla, was removed from the menu, and it was replaced with chocolate, or chocolate vanilla twist. After a century of choice, political parties in Utah no longer have that choice and are forced to choose between chocolate, a signature path only, or chocolate vanilla twist, signature and convention. SB91 is what we're here to talk about today. Senate Bill 91 returns choice to the menu. It once again allows political parties an additional choice, a choice that had been taken away, vanilla, convention only. SB 91 doesn't take away anything from SB 54. As a matter of fact, it only adds another choice. However, in order for parties to get the additional choice with SB 91, they are going to have to give something up. The Republican Party will have to change its convention winner threshold from 60% to 2/3. Keep My Voice has spent years defending choice for political parties. SB 91 is the closest thing to solving the problems created by SB 54. One of the biggest problems created by SB 54 is called plurality. This year, due to signature gathering, we have multiple candidates on the ballot for Congressional District 1 and 4. We also have 7 Republican candidates in the governor's race. Plurality simply means that our votes will be spread between candidates to the point that not one candidate will receive more than 50% of the vote. In fact, many believe we'll choose our next candidate for governor with less than 30% of the vote. That would mean that 70% of Republican voters chose someone else. What happened to making your vote count? You can't get elected 4th grade class president without at least 50% of the vote, yet we're going to elect our governor with less than 30% of the vote. This year, we can end plurality with SB 91. This bill will fix SB 54 by offering political parties an additional choice and path to the primary, with convention only as an option. If parties only send 2 candidates to a primary, one will become the clear winner with more than 50% of the vote. Now, many have claimed that signature gathering has allowed more candidates the ability to win elections. False. Data shows that in over 400 partisan elections throughout Utah since SB 54 became law in 2014, there were only 4 times when signature candidates won after losing at convention. What does this tell us? It tells us that candidates who win elections do it by going through the convention process. Those who gather signatures waste their money. We are confident that there are enough votes in the House and the Senate to pass SB91. And we are confident that Governor Herbert also believes in liberty and choice, and that our good governor will sign this bill. All we are asking is that we once again have the choice to choose vanilla. So I'm now going to give a couple of moments to the only candidate for governor who was able to arrange his schedule to be here today, and that's Greg Hughes. I want to give him just a couple of moments to add a few words. So after he speaks, I'll be happy to take any questions from the press or the audience. Greg?
I'm glad you're here. This is a very easy event to attend, and I'm glad that we're having it. I was in the House for 16 years, and I was the Speaker of the House for 4 years. And I'm going to tell you, we had a saying, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. I can't tell you how impressed I've been about what you've just heard is described as a way forward. Not to just repeal, which I think there's a lot of good arguments to just simply repeal SB 54. There's a lot of good arguments for what you would do. I know for a fact, we've sat around the table. I've sat with the Senate President, Stuart Adams, a good friend of mine. We've sat with the party chair. We've looked at this. This is truly a way to find a common ground and to really give parties that opportunity to choose what path they're going to go. Now, let me just say this. I don't know why it would be the case that any candidate or any incumbent, if you had a chance to meet every single person that could vote for you or against you, so that you weren't misunderstood, so that you weren't misquoted, so that you could answer the questions that are being asked directly, you should want to do that. You should fight for that chance to do that. That's what a convention does. When neighborhoods come together and they send delegates to represent their neighborhoods, to quiz and question and ask every candidate whatever they need to know, and you answer it. If they ask you about a bill that they thought it was the worst thing in the world, and you can explain what you were weighing at that time, that is what we call a high information election cycle. And nobody should be opposed to a high information election cycle. So of all the candidates that have decided to run for governor, I am the only one that didn't show up at the elections office on January 2nd or after and asked to pick up signature sheets because I have no interest in signatures. And I'm going to tell you this. The reason is because if you can't go through a high information voting cycle, then you really shouldn't be looking at a primary anyway. And the thing about SB 54, there's nothing in that law that requires candidates to gather signatures. So if you hear, because words need to match action, okay? If you hear that someone is opposed to the signature gathering process, we could all come together as candidates and simply not gather signatures. We could have a convention and a primary cycle right now, if it is the choice of the candidates that are running. So I know a lot of people that are running are my friends. They can do whatever they'd like, but we don't have to have a signature gathering process in the race for governor. It's an exciting time, open seat, first time since 1992. Fundamentally, if I am your governor, I am signing this. I'm not just signing. That sounds like, if you give me something and I can look at it, maybe I'll put my name to it. I am fighting for political parties' right to be able to choose a convention primary cycle as the other ones, and let the grassroots and the party faithful let us work together. It's been too long since elected officials have been at odds with the party faithful and the grassroots. There's no reason for it. We can't afford it. You see all these purple states in this country and around the western United States now. We know where purple goes. It goes blue. You've seen these presidential Democrat elections. I mean, it's terrifying to me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for keeping my voice. I'll tell you right now, this defeated an initiative. Lawmakers watch these initiatives fly, and we don't have the apparatus to fight initiatives. It's hard. That's how we got Obamacare expansion. Thank you for having an organization that speaks for the party, for grassroots, for the average Joe, the average Jane. And if I'm your governor, I am fighting with you, and we are going to make sure this becomes law of the land. Actually, it needs to happen this session, but whenever, I'm with you. So thanks.
He was the great leader over to me, and he said, give me a bill that I can sign. I'm thinking, thank heavens I'm not in the legislature. One of our other candidates for governor just got here. She had another appointment. I'm so grateful she was able to make it. Amy Winter Newton, if you'd like to say a few words, we'd appreciate that as well.
Well, I'm excited to be here. You know, political parties shouldn't be beholden to laws that don't impact them. We've got to repeal SB54. We've got to make sure that our party can make the decision on how we're going to elect candidates. I am a product of the caucus convention system. I was elected in 2014 as a Republican for the Salt Lake County Council in a special election where our party got to choose the nominee. I also have won subsequent elections through the caucus convention system. It's a good system where people can adequately vet the candidates. I had an interesting experience this year as I've been running for governor. I thought, you know, I'm gonna have my volunteers help gather signatures. We're gonna have a chance to interact with people clear in January, way before the election. We're gonna see where this goes. And I quickly realized that this law has made it almost impossible for a candidate to be able to get enough signatures to get on the ballot in a statewide race without having to pay enormous sums of money to do so. I had a decision to make. Do I write a check for $200,000 and buy my way onto the ballot? Our team decided no. We're going to take it to the people. We're going to go to the delegates at convention, and we're going to earn their vote, and we're going to earn their support for this governor's race. And so that's what I've chosen to do. I'll be at convention trying to earn your support. And I believe that that's where we can best vet candidates, and even candidates like me who don't have a lot of money, I have a chance now to take my case to the people and earn your support. And so I absolutely agree. We've got to repeal SB 54 as governor. I would absolutely sign that bill and support the repeal of that. So thank you for having me.
We all agree with the repeal. What we're trying to do right now, and thanks both of you, candidates for governor. I know how crazy your schedules are. Let's thank them again for being here. We have fought for years to have a repeal, and now we've decided if the legislature isn't willing to repeal, then it's time that they're willing to compromise with the party, because the last compromise was not with the party. We put together what we think is a very good compromise. It gives everybody choice. How many here would like to see vanilla again? Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? Any questions from anyone? Look at this crowd.
Where's it at? Where are we at?
Where does it stand?
Passed? Where does it stand? Yeah.
My team and I have had several meetings. We've met with almost more than half of the legislators. We've been here on a regular basis. It reminds me of how grateful I am not to be a legislator and how much respect I have for our legislators. They're bombarded every day by everybody for money and this and that. So we have great respect for our legislators. We've met with the Speaker of the House, who's supporting this. He's behind it. The House leadership is behind it. We believe we could easily get 2/3 support from the House. Remember, 2 years ago, the House voted to repeal SB 54, but the Senate wouldn't hear it. So the House has been the real anchor in all of this. So we're very grateful for the House leadership in the House. We believe, and we've met with the Senate President on numerous occasions, and we need 15 votes in the Senate. We believe we have 14, maybe 15 or more votes in the Senate. What we need is for the governor to tell the Senate, let the people decide. Let the people decide. And the way you let the people decide in a republic is you let your elected leaders make and take a vote. That's what needs to happen with SB91. I firmly believe if the Senate and the House take a vote, We will pass SB 91, and I also believe, contrary to what you may have heard, that our governor will sign it. So we need to encourage our legislature to do the right thing, give us back choice, and pass SB 91. Yes?
So I was talking to Senator Lee about this, and he told me that he saw the gubernatorial candidates being very instrumental in applying pressure to the governor in encouraging the Senate president to bring that to the floor so that it can have the hearing.
And I appreciate that. She just, for those of you that didn't hear, Senator Lee said that several of the candidates for governor, right? Yes. The candidates for governor have been exercising a little bit of pressure on the governor and our Senate to do the right thing, and that is true, they have. And Senator Mike Lee has been a huge force behind this, so we owe him a lot as well. And our party chair supports this. He couldn't be here today, and of course, party leadership is behind this as well.
So, Phil, you said that we'd be restoring the chance to choose vanilla. How would that work in practice? Would the political party pass a resolution before each cycle to determine whether we'd be doing a primary, a convention, or some sort of mix?
So the question is, how do we choose? Right now, the Utah Republican Party Constitution clearly spells out the one and only path our candidates can go to the ballot, and that's through a caucus convention process. In order to change that, that would require 2/3 of the vote of the party leadership, which is the state delegates. So we have been violating our state party constitution for the last 6 years. And there are some other ramifications when you're a nonprofit organization and you violate your governing documents. I'll let you read between the lines on that one.
Yeah, why haven't we, don't you let us know who the state or the Senate and House sponsors would be?
Oh, I'd be happy. I'm sorry I didn't say that.
So that we
This
can know
is being sponsored, thank you, George. This bill is being sponsored by Dan McKay, who happened to be the co-sponsor of SB 54. And the House sponsor is Cory Malloy, so we're grateful for those two. Any other questions? All right, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.